And welcome to another episode of the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Grant Chachere, and also the lead beat writer for North Carolina Tar Heels on SI, bringing you all the latest news in regards to your North Carolina Tar Heels. Of course, today is the day. North Carolina will start its trek on the Tobacco Road with a matchup against Wake Forest in Winston-Salem later today at 4:30 p.m. The game will be on the CW, so that's where you would tune in to watch the game. And if you have YouTube TV, don't worry, you're fine. It's not ESPN Network, so you're good to watch some good or bad college football because that's what I think this game will be. Well, not in terms of like a bad game. Well, it might be bad. I mean, you got to think about how bad North Carolina's offense has been, like last week. But it's going to be a defensive showdown for the most part. I released an article earlier this week about why I think it will be, and it's for a lot of reasons. Number one, both offenses are very good. I've already kind of explained how bad North Carolina's offense has been. I mean, Gio Lopez hasn't been great. The offense regressed last week. They only got 47 yards of total offense against Stanford in the first half, who, by the way, has one of the worst defenses in all of college football. And then on top of that, you got outgained by Stanford, who's a bad football team, right? The week before, but then Wake Forest, on the other hand, they haven't scored. They've scored 16 points. Well, no, they scored 13 points. They scored 7 points, and then they scored 16 against Virginia. I mean, they've averaged 12 points a game, and somehow they won 2 out of 3. Hey, man. So, if you want to win games, it doesn't matter how you win. You can be ugly and you can be pretty. It doesn't matter as long as you get the W in the win column. But these offenses are very bad, and on top of that, we start looking at Wake Forest, and then North Carolina's defense, of course, they're both very, very good. North Carolina, of course, has one as a top 30 defense. They're in the top. They're number 15 in rush defense. And they're very stout defense. Wake Forest, on the other hand, they are 35th nationally and 6th in the ACC in total defense, averaging 325.3 yards per game. And then their pass defense, of course, is a top 30 defense. I mean, this is a well-rounded defense, a well-coached defense. Jake Dicker's done a great job with this program. And really, to be honest with you, if you look at Wake Forest and what they've done this year, that's what a lot of people thought North Carolina was going to be. I thought North Carolina was going to be that what Wake Forest is now. But Wake Forest, they got great coaching. They got a great staff. They have a great culture. They preach accountability. They did a great job with the transfer portal. I mean, look, Wake Forest and North Carolina went through a similar route. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? But Wake Forest did it better because, of course, their coach is more familiar with the college game than Bill Belichick is. And then on top of that, he didn't hire, his sons or the sons of his friends or his friends. He hired a great coaching staff that breeds culture and of course, that wins you games. Their offenses have been great. Robbie Ashford's the quarterback. He's not a very good quarterback. I'm very familiar with who Robbie Ashford was. When I was covering LSU, when I was a student at LSU, he was their quarterback at Auburn, and he wasn't very good. He went to South Carolina. My second year covering LSU, it's my first year out of college. My third year covering LSU, he was the starting quarterback at South Carolina, and he was single-handedly the reason why they lost the game. Lenore Sellers was injured. I think he was injured in the third quarter, and then he got in, and then the game changed. So he's not a very good quarterback. And then, of course, they got Deshaun Purdy, who will come in every once in a while. Got to take over. But they got a so-so quarterback situation. But the running back, Damon Claiborne, is really, really good. Damon Claiborne is a guy who ran for 1,000 yards at Wake Forest last season. Wake Forest is able to keep him out of the transfer portal and stay with the Demon Deacons. This year, he's had a solid year as well, rushing for over 700 yards. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry with 8 touchdowns. Very, very good back. Matter of fact, Bill Belichick loves him. I even asked him about Damon Claiborne and he said nothing but good things about Damon. Like it almost sounded like if Damon Claiborne entered the NFL draft, Bill Belichick knew exactly who was drafted. That's basically what I got from him. And so he's a really, really good back. But he's really the only one. A lot of their best players are on defense, right? Their leading tackler is Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson has 76 tackles along with 5 tackles for loss and 4 pass breakups. Strong safety, hard-hitting safety, great run tackle, great against the run, great against the pass, disciplined tackler, disciplining coverage. He's and PFF in safeties that have at least 100 snaps. He's 5th in defense. He's 14th in coverage. In tackling, he's 31st. And in run defense, he's 33rd. And that's out of 500 safeties, y'all. So he's a very, very good player. You also have Dylan Hayes, linebacker, 52 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a pass breakup. Jaden Loving, defensive lineman on the interior, 27 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. He also has an 86.2 run defense grade. And then you also have 3 really good edge rushers. And Langston Hardy, 51 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, which leads the team, and 4.5 sacks, which also leads the team. Newer Gakuth, I can't pronounce his name, but I think it's Newer Gakuth. 30 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. And then you got Gabe Kursky, 24 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. And so now we kind of went over Wake Forest. And now you're wondering, how do the Tar Heels pull off the upset? Because it would be an upset. They're 6-point underdogs. They're on the road. Wake Forest is 6-3. They got bowl eligibility locked up. And you got a North Carolina team that's desperate to get to a bowl game, right? So what do they need to do to win a game? Well, first and foremost, move the change. You have to get first downs. You have to keep drives going. And you also have to finish the drive. So move the change and finish the drive. You have to put points on the board. You got to do whatever you have to do to put points on the board, because this Wake defense does not give up many. So if you get an opportunity to score, whether that be a field goal or whether that be a touchdown, you have to finish the drive, move the chains, and finish the drive. And really a big key will be if can Gia Lopez throw the ball on the field, and can the run game get going? Can Damon June get going? Or can they give the ball to Damon June? How about that? Because they only gave him the ball twice last week. Can they get the run game going, and can Gia Lopez make the plays needed to win this game? It doesn't matter how many times he does it, but you have to make the game. You have to make the plays at the right place at the right time. Number 2, contain Damon Claiborne. Damon Claiborne is really their only offensive playmaker. They don't really have much. If you could contain him, you stop the whole offense. And if, of course, once you stop the run game, that leads to them going to the pass. And you want to make sure you have a sack party for Marquard Abu-Jade and Tyler Thompson, whoever that may be, because they've been doing a great job getting after the quarterback. 19 sacks in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Just an incredible performance by this defense. Last week they got 9 sacks, which was I believe second, or it was either tied for third or second all time in UNC history in a single game. That will determine, just got to make them one-dimensional, make them throw the ball. Make them throw the ball. I think it's as simple as that. You want to take the ball out of Damon Claiborne's hands. Number 3, don't turn the ball over. Simple as that. I know we keep saying it. I know it sounds cliche, but if you look at the last few weeks, North Carolina lost 2 games because of turnovers, because they fumbled the ball in the end zone, because they fumbled the ball deep into their own side of the field. The game against Syracuse, the only time Syracuse scored a touchdown was because of a scoop and score, because you fumbled the ball. You have to not turn the ball over, whether that be interceptions whether that be fumbles, you name it. You cannot make silly mistakes. You cannot afford to do that against this team. This team is a very well-coached team. They're very disciplined defensively, and yes, they may not be the greatest offensive team in the world. They're still disciplined on the offensive side of the ball as well. You have to do what – I mean, you cannot allow them to – you cannot turn the ball over. Just simple as that. Also, speaking of discipline, you have to do – North Carolina has to defend the punt and kicks well. Wake Forest is a really good return team. Wake Forest, if you look at kickoff returns, Wake Forest is 21st in the country in kickoff return in average yards per return. They average 24 yards per return and have returned a kick back for a touchdown. And if you look at punt returns as well, Wake Forest is 18th in average yards per punt return, averaging 14.4 yards per return, and have also scored a touchdown on punt return. So if you're North Carolina, you got to make sure that you stay disciplined on special teams as well. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Grant Chachere, bringing you all the latest news in regards to your North Carolina Tar Heels. I hope you guys enjoy the game today. It should be a good one or a bad one, depending on how you look at it, because it's not going to be a very pretty game. You're not going to see a whole lot of points, but it should be a good one, as North Carolina is 2 wins away from bowl eligibility. And if they win today, all they need is one. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a great college football Saturday.